I haven't checked the batteries, I just happen to have that.
I'm going to ask why you have this.
You know what I do for work, right?
Oh,
Blackmail?
What?
CIA agent.
yeah, it's pretty much out of battery.
Dang it. Well, I am double checking we are recording.
Okay.
We go live and it's unmuted,
The
so.
little audio bars are moving when we talk. And we'll be at
Yes.
All right, this meeting will come to order. This is Erda City Council. It is Thursday, June 16th, 2022 at 7 p.m. We are in the Tooele County Auditorium located at 47 South Main Street, Tooele, Utah. We are broadcasting this over Google Meet and also YouTube. We'll start off with a roll call. Tonight we'll start with Terry Miner.
Here.
Kale.
Here.
Jess Bird.
Craig Smith.
Here. Craig Smith is here. Scott
Is here.
We are all here. And Joe, would you mind leading us first?
Yeah, absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll open the meeting to public comment. Come up and speak into the mic and write your name, say your name.
Daryl Anderson. I live in unincorporated Tooele County, is what I'm saying now. Just a couple of real quick items. First one is, I know that the general plan is on your agenda tonight. And I just wanted to commend the Zoning and Planning Commission and the City Council for the effort, and SOMAS. I think that's done a great job with that. I think it's well done, well thought out, has some great direction and vision for the city. So just wanted to make that comment. It's nice to see the things that we've been saying to the community for years now actually in print. The beauty of bringing on professional planners and having their skills be able to do a quality general plan for the city is nice. Next item is, it's time probably for us to start working on Tilby Village and Erda Estates and starting to move those forward. So we'd like to, touch bases with the city, work with the city, and I'm just, I guess, wanting to know kind of what the direction from the city is. Is Jake the planner? Should we reach out to Jake? Is he going to function kind of the planner for the city, or is it to come to the city council, or is it to go to John? Kind of what the direction is on that, so that we know just kind of where to proceed when we have stuff that we'd like to discuss with the city. So just a question, and I'll reach out to you, or you can get back with me in the future. But thanks.
Anybody raising their hand on the line?
I don't see anybody online at all.
If no one joins online, it is going to,
Be one person.
it'll prompt you and it will close the meeting if you don't click on it.
It asked me, are you still there? And I had to click to stay there.
You're gonna have to keep clicking that. Okay. Okay, anybody else?
Move to close public comment.
Second.
Moved and second that we close public comment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Comment is closed. Any discussion on meeting minutes for 6/9/22? Chair moves that we adopt those minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adopt minutes from 6/9/22. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, treasurer report.
Okay, I've written 3 checks this week. one to CVE Technologies for our Google account, I guess. $260.68. Wrote a check for the membership for the Utah League of Cities and Towns for $2,096.40. And the clerk's salary for 5/28 to 6/10, $910.57 for a total of $3,267.65. Then today I deposited $2,604.77 into the bank account from building permits. And we're up to 60 applications so far in building permits. And we have a balance in the building permit at $31,513.18, but that will go down really quick when we get Ensign's bill. Will be coming due in the next couple days. We also did get our credit cards. We now have 3 credit cards. So now we're up and running on that part, but it's, I just want to remind everybody, it's going to be the same requirement and authorization, just like if we was writing a check, we got to keep receipts and have it approved and yada yada. So that's the same. And then just as kind of a heads up, at the end of June, in our bill to the county for the roads of $103,441 will be due, as well as for law enforcement, $132,205 at the end of June, for a total of $235,646. Then I think everybody's got the latest copy of the proposed budget coming up, so we need to get that public noticed and get going sooner than later.
I hung it in 3 public places in Erda and did the online notification, so we're go for next Thursday. Terry, 2 things. I need to get the credit card of your choosing to go on GoDaddy for our website, so that our web developer can get posted on that. And then I was going to ask you, are you picking up checks from Ensign now and again and taking them to the bank?
Yes.
Have you suggested to them, or have they suggested doing a direct deposit to kind of cut out on that workload for you?
No. It's not that many. It's not that, because I don't do it every week. I just do it as so many checks come in and then I do it. So
Okay, well, if you're not complaining. All right.
we got a system.
Terry and I like checks and deposits and deposit slips.
It's easier for the audit. Which I did have talked to our accountant. He was gonna notify the other 2 firms that had applied for the RFP that didn't get chosen, and he was gonna let the Larson company that did get it appointed.
What's the deadline on that audit off the top of your head?
Well, I don't know about the audit, but we had to let them know by the 31st of June. So
Okay.
The audit's due at the end of the calendar year.
Oh.
Yeah. So they basically have 6 months to do the audit.
I think one of them said something like August or something like that, but I don't know that they realize it's not gonna be that big a deal
So they get a
for 6 months.
They get a trailing 6 months in order to audit the fiscal year before that.
Right.
All right, anything else from our treasurer?
I think that covers it. But on your other question, we'll probably use that one we're gonna give the clerk, because that's got the highest limit. It has a $10,000 limit. The other 2 only have 5, so.
Great. Okay. So Jen already has that?
No, I got it here, but I have a
Okay.
sign-out sheet if you'd like to sign it out, then you can sign it out and then sign it to her when she comes back or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what we do. I just need the number.
Wait a minute. Remember, we like deposits and deposit slips and
Welcome to 2022.
We're gonna give you that card and you're gonna protect that number with your life.
Well, yes, I will. But I am gonna give it to GoDaddy.
Okay, and they'll just bill us every month or what?
It's around $10.
You okay with that, Terry?
We're on a low end till we get lots of visitors.
You gonna do that with Google too?
That'll be through CVE, and I don't know if they take a credit card. I figure being that they're kind of a smaller company like that,
Well, they combined, they're two people now.
I'm sorry,
They combined with somebody else, or CVE plus somebody.
yeah. We can ask them. Okay, let's talk about our general plan and map.
Well, let me back up a minute.
Sure.
Since I got the chair and the co-chair both here, I wanna make it like an official thing that both of you approve for me to be able to do like all our monthly and regular, since we've changed that kind of back and forth, to pay our monthly bills,
Approved.
like the rent, like all that stuff that we do, payroll, all that.
All those reoccurring things.
Okay.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, who wants to lead off with general plan? We do have Chris Huff here. I don't know if you've got another spiel for us. I know you've made the changes we requested last week.
Do you have specific questions? I can answer
So-
those still.
I left early. What specific changes have we made?
It was the Ochre Mountain, or the Ochre Point, CSD. We changed the boundary to meet just Ochre Point area, and then shrunk a little bit of the high intensity to be Ochre Point.
The only high intensity we have is Ochre Point boundaries. Everything outside of that is medium and low intensity, which we're interpreting based on what currently is medium and low intensity in Erda is you call your medium intensity maybe 1 and 5 acre lots, and your high intensity maybe 5 and 10 acre, or your low intensity maybe 5, 10 and above. Kind of how I read that.
The thing I really, really like about this general plan is it gives us a lot of flexibility, certainly in the areas. County used it for a rezone last night, and in an area that was high intensity, they said 1 acre lots is a high intensity development in this area. And that gives us a lot of flexibility to use it the exact same way. Because there is no density in it, we get to interpret how it'll be, what that kind of intensity will be. If everything around it is MU40, well, high intensity would be a 20 acre lot. If everything around it's 1 acre lots, high intensity might be a smaller lot, but that gives us a lot of flexibility to use it how we see fit.
I have a
And
lot of,
that's supposed to be, to your point, contextually based.
I have a lot of faith in our planning commission to interpret that correctly and get it done.
So I made quite a issue last week about no agriculture, except for, like Jess said, the place where there's really no agriculture now.
Hey, the guy with his cow out there would
Did ya?
disagree.
with his cow, singular. So, but I think I've resolved in my mind that one of the problems we have is if we were to designate agricultural areas where there is actually agriculture now, that leaves those areas open to condemnation at the lowest value possible. And to try and avoid that, yeah, I think we should leave it like it is.
That was the purpose of changing those to the residential uses and employment so that if the condemnation did happen, like was happening around the airport area, they get greater value off the property. Again, that's not the official, but that was a thought that went through it. Can't do it to make sure that people's property values are higher, but essentially it's to help protect and.
But yeah, we're actually protecting agriculture by putting a higher value on those properties.
And at the end of the day, having those designated as employment makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't change it anyway, so. One more thing to say about agriculture. Oh. So as we get this batch of things wrapped up in July and August, we can be thinking about more laws that protect the current agriculture that's going on in the actual agriculture zones. I think that would be worth our time. Erda being what it is, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, what else about the general plan?
I think I'm happy with it.
Well, general plan is gonna be perfect. It's a great big compromise with, how many people would you say participated in that general plan?
In this, with the Tooele County and Erda processes, these 200 plus.
Okay. Well, I know we had at least 200 just in Erda, right? I mean, we had quite a turnout for our
Right.
general plan, so.
Well, my whole reasoning was I just wanted the residents of Erda to make the decision on how it was gonna look. And so it was residents of Erda that were the planning commission, zoning and stuff, so pretty much covered what I was hoping.
So is it perfect? No, but I see it as a grand compromise with a lot of input being taken into account. So, with that, do we have I can't remember, John, do we have an ordinance to approve this general plan?
Yes.
Do, and I posted it, but I did not print it. I can't even function without Jen anymore. Give me just a second. What's a long read? Let's see.
If you're ready, I'll make a motion.
Don't even know what ordinance we're approving.
22-24.
I don't see it in the folder. Get it on the email.
Yes, I do see a couple of changes, or one off the top of my head. I see, we need to change the word Mill Creek to say Erda.
I thought I caught all those. What paragraph? I'm there.
In the 1, 2, 3, 5th paragraph.
Has anybody joined yet, Corey?
Yes. Diane Sagers, the only one I see.
What other changes, Craig?
That's the only one I have seen.
ado, why don't we read it? Erda, Utah, ordinance number 22-24, and I'll read a few paragraphs, then I'll pass it off to someone. An ordinance of the Erda City Council adopting a new general plan and map. Whereas the Erda City Council met in regular meeting on Thursday, June 16th, 2022 to consider, among other things, adopting a new general plan and map known as the Erda General Plan and Map 2222 and 2022. And whereas Utah Code Section 10-9A-401 provides that a city must enact a general plan establishing guidelines for the present and future needs of the municipality and growth and development of all or any part of the land within the municipality. And whereas Utah Code Section 10-9A-403 provides that a proposed general plan shall include at a minimum the accompanying maps, charts, and descriptive and explanatory manner, the Planning Commission's recommendations for a land use element and transportation and traffic circulation element. And whereas Utah Code Section 10-9A-403 provides that the Planning Commission shall provide notice as provided in Section 10-9A-203 of its intent to make a recommendation to the municipal legislative body for a general plan or a comprehensive general plan amendment when the Planning Commission initiates the process of preparing its recommendation. And whereas Utah Code annotated Section 10-9A-203 provides that Erda, we're inserting Erda there, provide 10 calendar days notice of its intent to prepare a proposed general plan for a comprehensive general plan amendment to each affected entity to the Utah Geospatial Resource Center created in Section 63A-16-505 to the Association of Governments established pursuant to an interlocal agreement under Title 11, Chapter 13, Interlocal Cooperation Act, of which the municipality is a member, and on the Utah Public Notice website created under Section 63A-16-601. Who would like to pick up?
I can go, but I don't know what the required notice date was.
Corey, since you're not doing anything,
Yes, sir.
whereas on blank, required notice of intent was sent to each affected entity to the Utah Geospatial Resource Center created in Section 60, the Association of Governments. We've got a blank in our ordinance, John.
Right, I said that before you.
Right, and so that geospatial and all the affected, I responded to John and I said, look, were we supposed to mail something to every resident of the county because everybody's in, or I don't know what this geospatial thing is, because that's not something that the Planning Commission noticed or whatever. I don't know, I think I even asked, is this paragraph, do we have to have it, or, because I don't have a date for it either.
So we have to send it each affected entity.
Wouldn't that be just the ones that are affected by a change?
For the general.
No, it's a defined term. It's like the other government, cities and the mosquito district and fire district and those things. Well, we should have sent it at least to the Geospatial Resource Center. Maybe we ought to continue this for next week and send it.
Is it a 10-day notice? We have to continue for 2 weeks?
We'll need to check Section 63A 16505.
That's where it was created.
Oh. Established pursuant.
Well, the problem is you're supposed to tell them before you even start. You've already started, we're done.
Chris, wasn't that your job?
You're saying we're gonna ask a little forgiveness here? Mr. Chairman, I move we table this until we can send proper notice.
Thanks.
Okay, moved and seconded that we table this until we send proper notice, and we've decided that proper notice is notifying the Utah Geospatial Resource Center. Anybody else?
And effective then, give me a second, transfer that.
To that end, they probably need the GIS stuff that I sent you guys.
Which we just received. See, there you go. Thank you.
Well, long term is what they would need once it's completed.
Okay, the county, North Davis Fire District,
North Tooele.
or North Twilla. Twilla School District.
We have to do the mosquitoes and the.
Yeah, is there a mosquito abatement district there?
Would
What's that called? Is it Tooele County mosquito?
Full Valley Mosquito Abatement District. SPID is inside this area. We have to give them notice also,
Okay, who serves power out here? Utah Power?
Rocky Mountain Power.
Rocky Mountain Power?
That's what I still call them, Utah Power and Light.
Jeff Questar?
Yeah.
Questar?
It's a phone company.
Yes.
Dominion.
West.
Oh, gas, Quest.
Yes.
Yeah, it's now Dominion.
And who's the phone company, provider?
Oof, there could be a lot of phone providers.
Any of them public?
CenturyLink or
Yeah.
Lumen would be the.
I still have
private-
CenturyLink.
That is private.
I bet none of them care.
Right. Okay, John, if you want to get any others that you find to me.
Yeah, it says as defined in this section, and then go to another section.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we continue consideration of the general plan until we've been able to notify the proper parties. Any further discussion on this?
You say continue, mean a continuance of a table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do a roll call vote. Terry Minor?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Jeff Bird says yes. Craig
Yes.
Scott Trubay says yes.
Okay. All right, we're continued. Any report on roads?
You wanna do the UDOT thing?
So, we met with the Wasatch Regional Front Council last Friday, and their idea is to try and coordinate transportation needs. We talked about several things in the Tooele Valley. But there's nothing that I don't think have really not discussed.
Like a 30-year plan is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not, nothing coming real quick.
Yeah.
They still haven't decided how to hook into 201.
Right, so, we discovered something really interesting at this meeting though. You know, there was a proposal to make a commuter route from Goa City down the east side of the railroad tracks and connect up down at Lake Point, at the far north end where the old unexcelled, no, up above where the old unexcelled cafe was, and go around the mountain, connect up to 21st South. Grant Farnsworth pigeoned out about a 3-mile stretch from, it's a little more than 3 miles, from 21st South along the base of the mountain around the corner and to the north end of Lake Point. That stretch alone was $400 million.
Going over the mountain.
So, I don't think we're building that. Just my thoughts. Anyway, I don't think there's anything that we needed to discuss from that meeting, but I found out in the last meeting that I was in, the Wasatch Front Regional Council can help with other types of funding besides transportation. And so I'm going to get some more information on what they fund. And one of our problems is you've got to have a project and you've got to have matching funds. But there are purposes that they'll fund without those things. And so when I find that out, it may help us with some things like future planning. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I was glad I was in that last meeting just for that one.
That
bit of
funding
it.
source is actually in the general plan.
Is it? Great.
And there's other funding sources, sorry to interject, but they will do transportation and land use. So if you're looking for a small area plan or a general plan or a code, like writing your code, they'll fund all of that.
Yeah, so, anyway, that was our report from the Wasatch Front Regional Council, unless Terry's got something more.
Pretty well done with ordinance adoption. Economic development.
New. Nothing new.
IT. Nothing really new. Office. Probably crossed out.
Waiting for a callback.
So we kinda got the information on the mailbox. What's our next step with that?
Well, we haven't got the official.
Yeah,
Where are we at with that?
good to put
They
it
told
in.
us where to put it,
Right.
Yep,
so we're good to put it in?
yep.
Let's get it done.
Okay.
Um,
If anyone wants to go to Home Depot with me and pick one out, and I got drill pipe and we can get sackcrete. We can
Drill
weld
pipe.
it to it if we want.
What kind of mailbox and post do we want?
Well, I looked
Drill
at-
pipe?
I happened to be at Home Depot and just kind of looked, and they had one that was a lock box for like parcels. So it's like a bigger one, so I don't know, that's probably something we could use, cause that'd do envelopes and everything. And it was $109, I believe.
Is it the kind of thing we need to bid out, or should we country boy it?
This is a small enough project that, yeah, we should just build it.
Or if somebody else can think of some place else that'd have more variety, or if that one's good.
I don't think it needs to be too complicated, and we could put it on drill pipe with brackets, or we can weld it to it, or don't have to use drill pipe. I mean, hell, you could put a T-post in the ground if you wanted.
Oh, it's gotta meet federal regulations.
Yeah, that's true,
It's
maybe.
gotta have the height
They-
and all certain things.
They didn't tell me any of that, they just said slap one in.
Really?
Yeah, they said just put it there.
Okay.
Imagine you ought to make it look somewhat decent, but
Well, I know there's a height requirement.
maybe we ought to look that up then if there is. Yeah, I probably can't put one 9 feet in the air, huh?
Well, let's get that done. Do we need to authorize the money for that?
I think we got the It's in the office supplies already, or an office supply or equipment, that fall under one of those two.
Okay, well, why don't we, check out a credit card to Mr. Martin here and, send him to go buy a mailbox.
I'll find one, take pictures of it. I'll kind of tell you when I'm gonna go, look around for one. If I find one I think is good, I'll take pictures and send it to you guys. And if we get 3 people saying I like that one, then I'll buy it. And then
Sounds good.
since we're on the office committee, when I get the mailbox, should me and you go put it in?
Sure.
Sounds good. I don't think it has to be too deep of a hole. I don't think we need an auger. We could probably do it with a shovel.
I'm not gonna get my tractor out
Need
there.
a tapping bar.
Yeah, I've got one of those. So just shovel, sackcrete, drill pipe, and a mailbox.
So we sink it 3 feet.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's cool. If we can't connect it with brackets, we can get a welder out there and just tack it on.
We,
Plate or
I
something.
just had a thought, do we have an actual signed agreement with the fire department? I know they haven't accepted our payment
We have
yet,
a signed agreement, we just haven't paid them yet.
so there's not a chance that
Well, it was
that's
supposed
not
to
gonna
be,
be our office.
it was supposed to have started in May. But they haven't gotten back to me yet, but
We're
just
trying
saying I
to
wanna
make
pay
it
for the
one-
year instead of
One
month.
payment.
Terry and I have talked about that.
Terry going making everything difficult, can't pay him every month.
Oh, I wanted to do the year.
I'll go look at mailboxes Monday then. Is that okay with you guys? Okay. So I'll text you guys Monday.
Since we're talking fire station, I did also leave a message at the fire about fireworks, what his recommendation is going to be, but again, it's still waiting for an answer.
I'm, gonna be in Denver Monday through Wednesday, so
Okay.
I'll work all day Thursday. So next Friday, if you wanna go dig a hole, I'll go with you.
Oh, I got next Friday taken. I got a horse show. What about next Monday? The Monday after that one.
If you're lonely, call me.
Okay.
We can weld the plate on and then go put it down.
Sounds good. I'll buy it.
And do a couple of hangers, because I'm gonna have my boy do a sign that says Erda City that hangs below it.
That'll be pretty cool.
Good idea.
Done?
Plasma cutter and cut out a sign or something.
You volunteering to do the welding?
I can probably weld solid, good enough for that.
Perfect. You know, that drill pipe doesn't weld worth a darn.
It welds just fine.
I got some square tubing too.
I got a whole fence thing.
Grinder will keep it from popping.
Okay,
Grind the rust off and
yeah. Okay, we got a mailbox buyer, we got a mailbox welder. And
sounds like you're digging the hole.
I
He's good at digging holes.
We got 3 bags of saccharine.
Yeah, I can get those too. When I'm there, I'll just buy the saccharine too. And is there a hose that we can? I got a water tank over there. Yeah,
Bucket will work.
sounds good.
There's water at the fire station.
Oh yeah,
There is now. Okay, sounds like we got a plan.
perfect. Sounds good to me.
All right, council representative reports.
Me and Terry have stuff. Want to talk about the Emergency Operations Center?
Yeah, we had a meeting from 3 to 5 just before this meeting. And it's to develop the comprehensive emergency management plan,
Does this have to do with the committee with the volunteers?
the EOC thing.
Yep.
The hazard mitigation stuff.
Marky Whitehouse made that presentation a couple weeks ago, or a week ago.
Yeah.
So most of the things that came out in that is, they pretty much say, be prepared to spend the first 72 hours on your own. You're not gonna have Red Cross or anybody, it's gonna be you. And that the municipalities are the ones that are legally bound for the shelter in place, stuff like that. Even though the Red Cross might come out and set stuff up, it's our responsibility to have that established or going or and help them man it or do whatever. But, and then whatever shelters and stuff that we select as a site, they're required to be ADA compliant as well. And the 4 things that they recommend on a lot of that stuff is to have water, ice, MREs, and tarp. And also a thing about getting the community involved so we know where the people that may require special needs, like the disabled or somebody that's on medical equipment or something like that, so we know when something happens that these individuals need some special help to go either get them or set up generators to keep their medical devices running or certain things like that. So it's gonna be kind of a long haul, but it's gonna take a lot of community involvement, neighbors checking on neighbors and making sure everything's going. Got anything else?
So Terry and I thought we ought to try and piggyback this with the, what's the right way to say this? The preparedness efforts that have already gone on in Erda, mostly through the church. So rather than have some kind of maybe a wildfire emergency, and rather than have 2 different entities, Erda City and the church, trying to do the same thing in 2 different directions. So we'll see what they think about that and see if we can't make our efforts complement each other. And there's a lot that we need to be ready for. I mean, if we don't have certain, well, we've got to be working on it. That's the thing. There's no deadline. We don't have to have this many generators and that many MREs and all of that by a certain date. We just have to be moving forward and working on it. But as a city, as a municipality, we're responsible to help in any kind of an emergency like that comes around. So we this is a serious thing that we need to put some effort into.
So we're expected to warehouse generators and MREs?
No, but we're gonna have like contracts or places set up to say, okay, if this happened, we could contact this place or these people or do this or, but see, the way it really starts is we do what we can. We have to take the first step. And if it overwhelms, then the next step is the county, and then the county steps in. And then if it's beyond their deal, it goes to the state. And then once the state does, it goes to FEMA. So we just gotta make sure our first step is done and in place before it goes to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level.
The logical way to do this is to get our citizens involved. You know, find out, and I know the church does this, who's got generators, who's got backhoes, who's got trucks, who's got a van that could go help move someone who is disabled, you know, and we have that list assembled and those people are willing to help. Yeah, that way we don't try and fill up a parking lot full of equipment just sitting there waiting for the next major catastrophe. And then Bucky was sure to point out that if there's a major event, like the Wasatch Fault slides and part of Salt Lake County slips into a hole, we're not going to get anything. Not from Salt Lake County, not from the state of Utah. It's all going to go there. So we're going to need to take care of ourselves.
Makes sense.
Okay, that's the Emergency Operations Center.
Now, we're
Now.
supposed to be building a small cadet volunteers, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember how
Jen
many
said she posted it, and
we need 5 citizen volunteers. We got 1 volunteer today. Allison Kidd.
Okay.
Has anyone heard?
it seemed like there was somebody else last week.
There was like one person, Jen said, that had a line or something.
Oh,
But Bucky was also gonna try to get round up some people to help us as well.
So it sounds like maybe we got 2 of the 5.
Yeah, and
And additionally,
if people don't show up, we'll just ask people. So.
Okay.
Okay, you want the rest of my report now?
please.
So, in the Council of Governments that I was just at, one thing that came around the table, even though we, turns out, can't do anything about it, is taxes. So, there was a brief discussion about how property values and home values have been going up and will continue to go up. And it's on like a delay. So even if, I was about to impugn somebody, the federal government, but I won't. So if projections hold and a year from now we're in a real slide, whether it's a recession or depression, the evaluation on our properties is on a delay, so it's going to continue to go up. In my understanding, for the next 3 years. And so our property taxes are going to continue to go up the next 3 years, no matter what. And so my question to that council was, isn't there something that we can do to leverage taxes to not go up? And it's out of the realm of the Council of Governments to do that. The best thing we can do probably is when there's an opportunity for truth in taxation meetings, to go to those and express our opinions and our concerns. Here's my concern. So,
And this would be a county truth and taxation meeting?
no, they have them on the state level. I don't think the county has them, do they?
So, what happens is values go up, the tax rate goes down. So it's supposed to be that you pay the same amount of dollars.
Yeah. But they're talking about the tax rate is not gonna go down. I don't know, I'm not sure where, but everybody in that Council of Governments agreed that they understood that, yeah, the rate's not gonna go down, we are gonna pay more. And I argued the point that, well, we've got a 91-year-old couple living on a street in my community, and their income doesn't go up, their real value out of their property doesn't go up, but yet their tax rates continue to go up unless we leverage this rate down.
But it should be adjusted every year by the assessor, it's called the certified tax rate.
Right. But apparently that's not gonna go down. And there was a half a dozen people around the table that pointed out that, well, if that goes down and property tax bills remain the same, and municipalities are gonna have less money to provide the same amount of services. It was even, and the point being, well, it costs more to fill a pothole now than it did a year and a half ago. So we've got to pay more. I said, so my 91-year-old neighbors don't have any more money. They're not getting any more value out of their home. I think they would rather have a pothole in front of their house than go without toothpaste. But everybody said, well, yeah, but that's the way it is.
I know for a fact from what I went through, you don't get none of that money back either, even if they make a mistake. Because I remember they did this to us one time, they taxed too high, and we went to them and pointed it out, and they pretty much agreed. But the next year, they adjusted it back where it should have been, but they didn't give us nothing back from what they overpaid, because that's part of the budget, so that's already spent.
So my whole point in this is two things. Whenever we're in a meeting like that, we ought to be lobbying for the rate to go down so the dollars, Erda is not a young community. And there's a lot of people who live on money they have saved. So we ought to be lobbying for that rate to go down across the board. And there was a representative from the school board there, and he said the same thing, yeah, but everything costs more. They get like 76% of our property taxes. But I'm thinking that as Erda City, we should at least lower our rate because we can control that. So that people's property taxes, at least right now, when there's a recession just around the corner, when people are paying more for fuel than they ever have paid, we ought to make sure at least our taxes stay the same.
Or go down.
Or go down.
I agree.
Well, you can set your rate, you can reduce your rate.
Right.
At the next meeting, there's gonna be a blank in there for the certified tax rate. And you get to establish that.
Yeah.
So if you want it to go down, you can have it go down.
I want it to at least remain the same. You know, we are fixed into an amount we're gonna pay for law enforcement and for our roads. And we're short on money as it is. So I'm not lobbying for taxes to go down, but I sure am lobbying for taxes to stay at a current level for Erda, at least. If people are impacted, if my 91-year-old neighbors are impacted by their property taxes to where they don't have toothpaste, at least it's not gonna be because of Erda, is my thought.
Great point.
Okay. See me get down off my soapbox now?
I like these kind of soapboxes. Keep going.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Any other council representatives?
Mosquito, Dan.
Yeah, mosquito abatement, we met on Tuesday. We had to do our audit, and we went through that, and you would think it wouldn't be much, but the audit book was thick. It was probably 40 pages for just that little mosquito abatement district with a budget of $800-something thousand a year. And there was an awful lot in there, so that was an interesting process to go through. But if anyone has a mosquito problem, let me know, and we can get with the district, and they will send some of the fog, or they will come treat any standing water anywhere in the city. They're more than happy to do it.
Is there any way they can test for West Nile going around in mosquitoes, or what's?
They do. They have sentinel chickens, and they test for West Nile. There hasn't been any West Nile for a long time. You laugh, but there's a chicken protecting you, Jess.
And
So,
It's like the canary in the cave.
Yeah.
They do test for it, and they haven't had any in the valley for years now.
I mean, you think of how many horses and stuff are around that might not have West Nile shots or whatever. If we got a West Nile outbreak, people and horses and everything, that'd be.
I used to give my horses shots every year, and I haven't for years now.
Yeah, that's me too. I would be wishing I had if West Nile breaks out. You know.
It's good that we don't have it.
Yeah.
Wait, you said standing water? There's standing water in Erda somewhere?
Yeah.
There's a couple little pools after a rainstorm here or there.
Not for very
Man.
long.
We need to tap into that if there's some water somewhere.
Uh,
Not standing very long.
You'd be amazed where you can find it. There are a couple storm drains in Erda, apparently, only a couple, maybe under the roads, and they treat those. But even in the horse's water trough,
Oh yeah.
you can find mosquito larvae there. So, and like they're happy to come test anywhere. Anyone who wants to test, they'll be more happy to come do it and help with the treatment plan. And then they fog regularly. They have traps looking for mosquitoes, and when they find them in the traps, then they go through and fog. But if you're gonna have an event, 50 people in your yard, let me know or contact them, and they will come do a pre-treatment to make sure there's not mosquitoes there when there's an event.
That's cool. It's cool to know.
Yeah, they're they'll provide, they're happy to provide services.
Awesome.
Cool. Any others? General comments?
Guess you'll be able to find me in about 15 minutes at Jim's eating pie.
Early enough.
Should have had pie.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moving and seconded, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can't be hungry.
I'm not. I really like pie.
You're always hungry. Pie around. Bacon. So do you, when I get all this stuff rounded up, do you want me to, would you want to weld it at your house?
Here with the grinders and the welder. I mean, I can turn it down there, but
I got it.
we can sit it on the table.